So you're like in the 2015 era. Tell us a bit about what it's like to pivot into being a solo artist and to run through it in that era.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I touched on it briefly, but I it fucked me up, bro, because I came from not music was my love, right? So I'm able to maneuver and somehow form a family through music. So you could think of the disloyal and the betrayal I felt on. I thought we were committed to a vision, excuse the pun, because that's a project that came in 2017. But I thought we were moving towards a unified goal. And for you to kind of whenever we're chilling hungry conceptualizing these songs because we took our projects as well and we all on this tip of we're going to do it and we visualize, but you have the intentions of you want it for yourself. It kind of almost destroys the person who's invested emotionally on with the energy and love of creating the art. So it almost really destroyed me. And if I didn't have such a supportive, strong family, I probably would have moved away from music or done something stupid. Uh, you know what I mean? Like that's coming from my dad. It's like, hey, you really went through it, man. Like that almost fucked you up. And I'm like, yeah. Uh, but like we'll get into that. So moving into a solo, it was quite scary, but it was also exciting because I was let down by the betrayal, but it added to the actual craft of the music itself because I was inspired to write about that because I thought how many more people could feel something by that. It gave me a strong polarizing way to conceptualize my thoughts rather than, yeah, let's make a song about dancing and then, like it's easier to want to dance if we all want to dance. But now if it's like, now I get to say what I truly feel about something I believed in, it comes off differently.
So basically, not having the group around allowed you to not have to worry about the impact of being in a group and saying what you want to say.
Yes, yes, but for some strange reason, I suppose this is why I always show so much love and respect, because I feel that not yes, it did allow that. So meaning I could play around with the types of lyrical ability, like flexing lyrically and MCing, because as a group now we're a brand with notable popularity and we're going to gigs and we're moving a specific way. You kind of have to compromise on your individual perspective because you are part of a moving component and one like the Power Rangers, you all got an identity, but you're unified.
Love it.
so so it gave me, I'm like, nah, I don't want to be a Power Ranger. I want to be this. So creatively, it allowed me to do that. But then it kind of took me, it's a gift and a curse because as soon as I started doing what I like, all the reason people like the group, maybe I didn't possess all those attributes. So I have to start from the ground now, trying to figure out what works for me and what's true to me.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a difficult process. I can imagine it's going to take some time and failure. That's the problem with it. Is there's a little bit of failure that happens in there, but I'd say you're clearly doing it to this day, so it worked. Therefore, it was all worth the effort. But like, so you're basically making what kind of content back then to support yourself? Because you were doing like more than just individual songs. It seemed like you were doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, it's remember I have a day job at this time, so I am learning what does a through the line campaign look like? How does it start from the idea to the actualization? So I was more in the advertising and marketing corporate headspace where I'm trying to be a multifaceted designer that caters for footwear down to apparel to pharmaceutical. So as much as I'm doing music, I'm sure you saw the freestyles when I had the big hair. It was kind of that time. What actually so I did that voiceover from one of the songs. And another big thing that actually happened over there is I was able to get my song on a movie that got licensed, and that was like my first time actually like getting money as a solo act outside of work, and it's like, oh yeah, here's a contract, splits, that kind of thing. So the music was still developed from being in a group, because well, I don't know if you know, being in a group, everyone has an idea, but maybe they don't use all the ideas. So what helped me being a writer and stuff is that I wrote down the ideas I had for me and I thought it through. So when it came to trying to find the right producers and beat makers, it was all like doable to create a unique sound that worked for me.
So essentially, you leveraged the corporate marketing experience to create the ecosystem that you want that allowed you to find the right people. So, are you like performing throughout this process of day jobbing, or is it more of like a creative?
No, no. I was more of a freestyles, do a few radio interviews, pushing, emailing my songs. It wasn't even like performance based. What was performance based is I landed, and this is towards, because I was there for 3 years. Um, I landed a campaign with a brand called Hansa Cider, and I got to travel the country, and I was able to MC and host these invite only sessions where we just drink the beverage and we call out some performers to come perform, like on that corporate steez. So I was able to do that. And I thought the money was looking really good, and but it kind of fell through, but it fell through after I put in my resignation. So I quit my job because of internal politics or whatever, to pursue my dream and chase my dream and be the man. And with that solo project, I linked up with another two homies, and we did the first independent tour in South Africa, where we got to travel South Africa, and it was powered by Samro and Concerts SA. So we went around the country traveling. So I came up with this elaborate plan on how I'm going to take my career and my solo self to the next level. Ironic, it involved other people, probably. So we came up with this initiative. I'm traveling, I'm doing this corporate stuff, and I lose the contract, or the contract never ever came. It was just a few gigs that would sustain me for like 2 months. Now I'm in the third month. I'm wondering why my emails and phone calls are not being returned. And it was more like, hey man, that shit is never happening. Like, do whatever you're doing. So I got stuck in a crossroad after. So I came up, left the group, became solo while I'm working. Music was picking up, the deals and stuff was coming through, and then it just took a U-turn after I put in my resignation, because I felt like I was working like a slave, basically. I was just like, nah, it's enough. Maybe I was jaded by I can do this myself, and I overestimated what I'm capable of doing, and I got a slap by reality. But I got into a position where it was like, okay, I have to do something. I have to figure this shit out. And literally nothing happened. Nothing happened. And what did MX do? He took a look in the mirror, and I just said, I need a retreat. I need to run away from everything. I'm like, run away to where? Is what my family asked. I'm like, I'm going to the ancestral home. I'm just going to chill for like 8 months. I downloaded a lot of positive self-affirming videos, a lot of books, ancient stuff, Infinite Waters on YouTube, As a Man Thinketh, all that good shit. I downloaded all that, and I went there with the notepad, and I went there with my music. Because the smart thing I did do is, when I got those checks, I was able to buy like equipment and mics and small things like that. And I was just like, I need some time to myself and try rebrand or re-strategize how I'm going to come back and what I want. So yeah, that was, when was that? That was 20, okay, yeah, from 2015. So 2016, 17, this happened. And 2016, I lost my best friend, who I was in the group with, who kind of was my guy. And that fucked me up really bad, like just the depression and the anxiety, because it was like, why am I even still doing a job? Why am I doing music? What does it actually mean? So man, yeah, long story short, I went through the worst of it, but then I was able to kind of come up with the plan on rebuilding ideas I had about myself and how I wanted to come back.
Yo, it's so interesting.
And
It's almost like
Yeah.
you created for yourself the environment that COVID created for the world a few years before COVID.
Yes. 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 That's exactly it. That's crazy.
But
Because
that's
you need to imagine, yeah, you need to imagine, like when I say the rural outskirts, it's like very humble, man. It's very, very humble. It's like green, the sky is very blue, there's cows, there's fresh air, there's less cluster, there's less franticness. It's away from the city, it's basically inland in the countryside. So I just felt I needed that because my whole life it was just like try, 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 try. You burn out, try, try, try. When you burn out, you try even harder. You know what I mean? There was just kind of that pressure from the family, from my peers who were making it in the industry. And I just was like, you know what, I'm actually really hurt and I need time to me, to kind of ask myself, why am I doing what am I doing? Am I even in the right industry? You know, like when you ask yourself all those weird questions.
hold on.
Yeah, but
Those aren't weird questions. Yo, like I read a lot of books, right? I started with like more self-help shit, right? Cuz I mean, like you just end up wanting to know how to be successful or be better, and then you hear everybody reads the same shit, so you start reading their shits and you realize, nah, like there's no way to be successful without visualizing a future. As in, like, actually looking into the future of who you want to be and deciding some shit or another. Like, you have to pick something in order to, like, actually do it. But how else are you going to pick something if you're not actually scrutinizing your choices and looking into your soul and being like, yo, am I in the right shit?